Okay, class, before we start our lesson, we are going to go over our language and content objectives. For reading, I can paraphrase the themes and details of the fable, The Fox and the Cat. Our language objective is I will internalize new vocabulary by using it in speaking and writing activities. Our objectives use some important words because one of our objectives is paraphrasing, which means to restate something in different words. We will practice with the partner paraphrasing, restating in different words our objectives. You will say in a complete sentence, "We are going to learn," and tell your partner what you are going to learn.
We are going to learn paraphrasing
and
a fable.
A fable, yes.
a story.
Paraphrasing a story, yes.
And vocabulary.
Yes, we're going to learn new vocabulary. So now, after we read our objectives and you paraphrase them, I want to know how you would rate yourself. How well do you understand the objectives? Using your fingers, you will show me 1 if you don't understand, 2 if it's familiar, and 3 if you don't know. So 1 if you understand, 2 if it's familiar, and 3 if you don't know. So 2 it's familiar? Okay. Remember, it's okay if you don't know. So the next thing that we're going to do is a word cloud. And these are some of the words in the story, The Fox and the Cat. So there's fox, cat, hound, way, enemy, escaping. So who do you think the characters of this story will be?
Cat.
Cat?
A fox.
A fox, okay. Well, it's called The Fox and the Cat, so we know that those two are our main characters. What kinds of stories do you know that have animals as characters in them?
Make-believe stories.
Make-believe stories, that's right.
The Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, Little Red Riding Hood has the wolf.
The Three Little Pigs.
Oh, the Three Little Pigs. Let's think about the words hound, enemy, and escaping. Hound, enemy, and escaping. What do you think happens in the story if these words appear a lot? Hound, enemy, escaping.
I think there's a mean man in it.
Somebody mean.
And
okay.
someone's getting away.
Someone's getting away. So who do you think the enemy is in this story?
Maybe a hound.
Maybe a hound. Okay.
Maybe the fox.
Maybe the fox? We'll read and find out. So I want you to think about the words and 1 way and 100. As we read, pay attention to what these refer to and what might they mean. So our story, The Fox and the Cat, the fable. A fox was boasting to a cat of its clever devices for escaping its enemies. "I have a whole bag of tricks," he said, "which contains 100 ways of escaping my enemies." "I have only 1," said the cat, "but I can generally manage with that." Just at that moment, they heard the cry of a pack of hounds coming toward them, and the cat immediately scampered up a tree and hid herself in the boughs. "This is my plan," said the cat. "What are you going to do?" The fox thought first of 1 way, then of another, and while he was debating, the hounds came nearer and nearer, and at last the fox, in his confusion, was caught up by the hounds and soon killed by the huntsman. Miss Puss, who had been looking on, said, "Better 1 safe way than 100 on which you cannot reckon." So after we read our objectives and you paraphrase them, and we read our story, we are going to go over a couple of key words of vocabulary from this story, one of them being enemies. So I'm going to give you a sentence, and it has the definition in the sentence. So, like, spiders are the enemies, those that try to harm or threaten flies. So in our fable, the enemies were the hounds that the cat and the fox were trying to get away from. Escape, Dory planned an escape to get away from the sharks. So the cat escaped from the hounds. Boasting is the next word. The winning team was boasting, showing pride in their winning score, just like the fox was boasting about his 100 tricks. He was very proud of them. So the next thing we are going to do is you're going to help me fill out this concept definition map. So our concept would be, what did we just read?
The cat and the fox.
The cat and the fox. So that is a fable. And what did we learn from that story?
That it had animals in it.
It had animals in
Yeah.
it. What else was in the story?
Just animals.
Just
the
animals?
Fox and the cat and the hounds.
It taught a lesson.
It taught a lesson. So fables are stories with animals, which we already went over a couple of them. And the animals are characters, and they teach a moral lesson. So it's something we can learn from. So we're going to explain what a fable is. We just did that. And now we're going to explain what it's like and what are some examples. Okay, so we already talked about it teaches what? What does it teach?
A story is
A moral.
A moral lesson. So that's what we learn from it. From these stories, are because they have animals, do you think that they're real or
no, they're
No.
not real.
Because
They're
the
not real.
animals are talking.
the animals are talking? So it's kind of like a tall tale. Because some of these things the animals wouldn't do in real life, right?
Right.
Right. So it's a fictional story, and they've probably been told for hundreds of years, right? They're not just made up right now.
That was one of the words in the story.
Yeah.
100.
100. So there's lots of them. That's a great example.
Legend was also in the beginning of the story. You told us.
Oh, okay. Okay, did we talk about what are some examples of them?
The pig, the three little
Oh,
pigs.
the three little pigs. Okay. Anything else?
The turtle and the
And-
hare.
And the wolf.
And the wolf. Oh, we did
the-
talk about wolf.
Yeah, the
Little
story
Red
about
Riding
Little
Hood?
Red Riding Hood
Well,
with
there's
the
another
wolf.
story with the wolf. That's a fable. It's called The Little Boy Who Cried Wolf. There's the tortoise and the hare. That's a fable.
What's a tortoise?
It's a turtle.
Okay.
And a hare is a rabbit. And then another one is The Lion and the Mouse.
I remember that one.
You remember that one. Those animals are talking in that one, aren't they, too?
Mm-hmm.
And the wolf is the enemy of the Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, it is. He is. He's an enemy in that one. And it teaches you a lesson, too, right?
Yes.
You learn a lesson from that one, too. So now that we have read our story, you will paraphrase again. You will give me a summary of the fox and the cat by creating an acrostic poem using one of the words from the story and summarize the story. So we can look at our cloud. There's a lot of words on here. But one of the words that I thought would be a good one would be, what is the thing that the fox has a lot of?
Teeth.
Tricks?
Teeth. He does have a lot of teeth. Tricks. And the cat only had one trick. So we're going to make a poem of the word trick. So I have given you a head start. Here's the word trick. So for each letter, you'll write a sentence. So I started with the cat ran up and you can help me fill out the rest of this. So what did the cat run up?
The tree.
The tree. What else did the cat do that we could summarize this story? Because remember, paraphrase means to say it in another way. So we have to say this story that I just read in another way.
The cat was smart.
The cat was smart.
He was fast.
He was fast.
In the story, you said the cat immediately means he was fast.
It means he was fast.
He went up the tree fast.
Clever. There was the word clever.
Oh, yes, that's in the first sentence. The cat was clever.
And he knew how to escape. That could be K.
Oh, that's good. You know that word, knowing, because it doesn't sound like it. So we could just finish this.
Oh yeah,
So the
I
cat
can
ran
be
up
immediately. Immediately.
The
went up
tree. It was clever. And it doesn't have to rhyme, and it doesn't have to be a complete sentence. So knowing how to escape. And the cat knew how to escape how? How many ways?
One.
One way. Okay, so just like we did in the beginning of the lesson, so here's the complete one. Just like we did in the beginning of our lesson, we rated ourselves. I want to know, so ask yourself, how well did I meet the lesson objective today? So our objectives were to paraphrase the themes and details of the fable, The Fox and the Cat, and internalize new vocabulary by using it in speaking and writing activities. So did you, 1, I can teach the concept to someone else, 2, understand most of it but not everything, or 3, I don't understand and I need more time, practice, or examples?
I can show this. I can tell this to my grandma.
Oh, that she'll love that.
I can tell it to my tia.
Oh, she'll love you retelling the story. Thank you.